It's a fly.
There we go. Get it.
Do we sync it together? Oh, the mistletoe, not on this here tree.
There isn't any on this tree. So what do you want to be called?
I usually go by Richie or Richie T if you want to get real.
Richie T would be like the hip way to say it. We'll say former Suncrest resident, but current Suncrest DJ.
Yeah.
Richie T. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, welcome back to the Suncrest podcast. Today we have a special guest, Richie T.
Hey!
Former Suncrest resident, but also current Suncrest DJ.
Yeah.
Record scratch.
The guy, yeah.
We'll add it in post, yeah.
Former, a couple of times. I've lived up here, I think 3 different times up in Suncrest.
So we were just chatting, and I didn't realize I already knew you, but in a weird way.
Yeah.
I would love to start there. So how did we meet? So I didn't know I knew you.
Yeah, so, well, there's all sorts of connections, apparently, but we'll start here. We moved in the middle of a snowstorm.
Yes.
Which could be any time between September to May up here in Suncrest, right? And just a horrible night. And you and a couple other people showed up. We didn't have a ton that we had to move in, but we just went after it, moved in.
We just busted through that wall. We busted a wall all the way down getting in there.
And turns out that you had worked with my ex-wife and
I did?
At one of your jobs, and we talked about that for a little bit. And I've lived up here. I first moved to Suncrest in 2001, June of 2001.
So it was kind of new.
Oh, it was very new.
Wow.
There were not like Makeout Point was still just being discovered.
It was just Point.
Yeah, it was just the Point, right? People haven't even advanced it. They were still asking each other's names. They hadn't gotten to that point. Most of the parks, a lot of the infrastructure, the trails at that point, the trails existed, but they weren't
they were
developed.
Hiking trails. Back then. Yeah.
People would come up here and hike in high school. So before we even moved here, we used to come up and go 4-wheeling. Had an old Toyota pickup that we dropped an oil pan in and then just left the car because we were like, we're not getting anywhere.
That was in 2001?
No, that was early 90s.
Oh, so you've been coming up here since the 90s?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, but then moved here June of 2001. And still, I mean, I don't know, you could probably go back and look, but I would bet maybe 200, 300 homes up here, and then to see where it is now, just...
Because this house we're in now is built in 2001 or 2.
Yeah.
So it was that first, the narrow street development, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, before they started to think, hey, we might need to get snowplows down the road.
We all started getting larger, you know?
Yeah.
People were smaller back then.
But but it was before the ridge, it was before the pool.
Really?
If I recall correctly, I don't think the rec center, the pool, any of that stuff. Maybe the ridge was there. It obviously wasn't the ridge.
Yeah.
It could be last week, and it could be a different name than what it is now. I don't even actually know that it's called the ridge
Royal,
right now.
Last I heard it was Royal.
Okay.
It could be something different this week.
And by the time this comes out and someone watches it in the future, it will be something else again.
Yeah, it could be. They could be ridge spelled backwards at that point. Who knows?
Which is but it's been crazy. It's been fun. It's been fun to see it grow up here.
So you kind of have very deep roots in this area.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you came up here a lot when you were young, and then I mean you're young still.
Sure, thank you.
But when you were younger, you would come up here and you guys would hike, you drove up here?
Hike, 4-wheeling. There at the base of the hill there used to be, and this may still be here, but it's far smaller. It was a place where. You've ever seen the movie City Slickers? Billy Crystal.
I think so.
People of a certain generation remember and know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
When the city folk want to feel like they're countryfied,
Okay.
You could do that up here. So you would go, the guy had a bunch of horses and he would take you up horseback riding up on the mountain. And
so it was like a service they had. Like it was like a place go.
You pay it out the nose for it. But
you were paying to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where are you from then? So you were close enough to get to Draper area and Suncrest. Sure. Where did you grow up?
Like Midvale, Sandy area. Okay. Went to Hillcrest High School.
Oh, cool.
And then just always kind of around in the Salt Lake Valley.
Yeah.
And then up here in Suncrest, and then down in Salt Lake, and then over in Bluffdale, and then back up here in
So you bounced around. You weren't just in one city. So
No.
you kind of experienced a lot of that old Wasatch Front.
Yeah.
I call it old Wasatch Front because in the 90s it was still even further back in time, right?
Back in the old days, sure, the 90s.
Yeah, but it was such a different place back then.
Yeah.
So you've been here the entire time watching it change.
Oh yeah.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. Well, and I can remember, I'm a member of the predominant Utah faith, and I can remember when living up here, we would go all the way to the church on like 114th South and 13th East, because there was not a church up here, and all of the different congregations and stuff like that, even though everyone will always say there's a million of them, there wasn't one closer that there was room to attend. So people from up here went all the way down into like the heart of Sandy to go to church.
You put on your bonnets and your oxen, and you would get the wagon hooked up.
That was just when we did cosplay once every 4 years. We called it Trek. It's a thing, but
different than Open Mic Sunday.
A whole other thing. But yeah, I mean, so like none of that stuff was there.
Wow.
You know, none of the businesses that are down at the point as you get off of Traverse, and if you can believe it, like the road conditions.
Yeah.
That much worse. Not that the storms were worse, but people hadn't really figured out like who was going to take care of it and how it was going to work and like priority. I don't think that they knew, like, and it could have even been at the very beginning that like the weather relay, like, hey, it's raining down here, but it's snowing a ton up there. We should probably get after it.
That's still a relay that exists today.
Yeah.
Your boss is like, what do you mean you can't come into work? There's a wall of snow at my house.
Yeah.
Let me get a picture for you. I don't believe that.
But here's a newspaper. What's a newspaper? Never mind. I can't prove it.
I can't show you because it doesn't exist. There's no internet yet.
But yeah, just crazy. So Wild West, the post office, I think when we first moved here, like the mailman didn't come here. You had to go down to the like city, like that. That's how early it was.
So like from now to then, is it? Do you miss that old version of Suncrest, or are you happy it's different now? Because you've experienced so many different versions of this place.
I mean, there's something quaint about it being that small because there weren't that many people.
How many people were there at the time?
I don't know. If 300 homes, so what?
It feels quaint now. I can imagine what it was then.
Yeah, it was. Well, you had to be real careful. If you made someone mad, you saw them every time you came up or you came down. No, that makes it sound super old-timey. I think the services that are up here are super nice. Okay. Like the Suncrest Owners Association, who does all of the events.
Fantastic, yeah.
You know, they do an amazing job up here. Yeah. They may have been in existence, I'm sure, as an owners association, but I don't know that there was like a community director, an event planner, and all that in the very beginning. If there was, I just wasn't aware of it. But like to have that constantly, something new, trying something fantastic, like they do such a great job. But you know, back in the day, you had to really make an effort, and you would go and get to meet neighbors if you wanted to. So there's something for each.
We're kind of stepping back in time doing this stuff.
Yeah.
Back in 2001.
Yeah. Getting the Wayback Machine.
Yeah. The early 2000s, late 1900s transition.
Yeah, that makes it sound forever ago.
I know, right?
In the late 1900s. Mm-hmm.
So you were in high school era when you were...
So it was just post-high school.
Post-high school.
I left the state for a religiously affiliated vacation and then came back, and Mom had moved here. So
poverty tourism type thing?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, just out and about. Just went to Cleveland of all the fancy places. Yeah.
Exotic Cleveland.
Yes. Yeah. Friends in Australia, friends in Austria.
Yeah.
Cleveland, cool, awesome. Great.
English, great. Yeah. Or Spanish.
Kind of English. Yeah.
So you get back and you move back to Suncrest, and then you what do you do from there? So you're in Suncrest and you're back from a stint away from in the U.S. but away from Utah.
Yeah.
What do you do from there?
So then it was really just kind of like a, hey, what is life kind of thing? What do I want to do? I finished up a degree at Southern Utah University.
Really? What did you study?
I studied theater, and I minored in dance.
Oh, are we going to see anything?
Well, if you ever get to see me DJ the events at Suncrest, you know that I dance. Like with events with the kids, pool parties, I'm behind the thing dancing.
I think I've seen you dancing behind the thing.
It's hard to forget when you see it.
What kind of dance were you focused on?
Right, like in college, modern dance.
Dance.
Yeah,
okay.
So the full thing.
And then theater. What drove you to do theater? Because that's very hard.
Yeah,
it's a very challenging degree because it requires.
Yeah,
there's no rule book sometimes.
Yeah, and what some people love, other people can hate, and it can be no different between the things. It's very subjective. Mm-hmm. I think what really drove the theater thing is when my first semester in college, I got there and I was like, I'm going to be so serious. I'm going to get a communications degree or a business degree, and I'm going to go and do that. And so, you have all those general electives that you have to take.
Yeah.
And or general ed requirements. General electives is.
I think they're like electives, but they're all generals.
Yeah, but you had to get a certain amount from certain category A, blah blah blah.
It's a weird thing. I can't even figure out how it works still.
Yeah. Well, guess what? It's going away because people don't want to pay for it, and especially how much people have to pay for education. That will go by the wayside.
Dude, hopefully.
But I took that first semester and was like, I am so serious. Yeah. And it was the worst semester ever. I hated it so much.
Really? Because you're doing like business and writing.
Yeah,
English.
And I was just like, this is not what I want to do. And so I actually remember, ties into Suncrest, I was at my house, my mom's house. We were sitting down eating dinner over like the Christmas break. Mm-hmm. And I said, hey, I need to tell you something. Mm-hmm. Insert all sorts of jokes from my mom, knowing that I was interested in theater, etc. And I said, I did this first semester the way that I thought you and Dad wanted me to do it. I'm not doing this next semester that way.
Really?
I can't do that. I'm not going to be able to continue to do it. And so that next semester, I took like all theater and dance classes, and I was like, I love it. I love this.
Yeah.
And then took the 2-year stint and went back and then finished up the
Was
degree.
that a stressful conversation to have when you had it? Because you had to kind of stew through that because you had an identity. Was it a crisis?
No. It wasn't. It wasn't anything like. It was just. It was just a thing like where I knew that, like to your point, not only is like the arts just a hard field to be in. Yeah. It's even harder if you would like to make money or make a living doing it.
You don't say.
Yeah. So it's like so you have lots of people and that your community theater people who like I'm a realtor by day and I do the theater
Shakespeare
at night.
By night.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And on all these things, they have that way to kind of do it. But if you're like, man, this is the thing. This is what I want to do. I don't know what I'm going to do that isn't this artistic endeavor. Yeah. It's real hard, and I know that their only concern was, two concerns, I think. One is that they wanted me to be happy. Right.
Whatever
I was doing.
Any good parent. Yeah.
Well, not all parents, but any good parent, you're right.
Good.
Yeah. And then the other thing is, I just think if they were being honest, they wanted to know that one day I would make enough money that I could completely move out and not have to live with them for the rest of my life.
We got to save for retirement. We got to get this kid out of here.
Yeah. Launch. So, stressful, but not like identity, whatever.
You were like 22, 1.
Yeah, 22.
22, wow.
Yeah.
So it was that Christmas break that you had that discussion. So you went back and finished that semester off. Yeah. But did the tone shift when you went back?
I mean, and then just knowing that this is what I was to be doing, and that like it wasn't like a job fell out of the sky and I was like, oh yeah, here we go. Yeah. Now that I've made the decision, the money starts rolling. But it was just a thing where I was like, oh yeah, you know what I'm going to do is this. Somehow I'm going to do this.
And you kind of had a surety of it back then. You're like, I know this is what I want to be doing. That's pretty impressive. You had such a strong will to pivot that much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, because people don't recognize how hard it is to try something and then emotionally check out of it to the point where this isn't working. Yeah. And then have to redefine it that quickly. That's a fast transition.
Sure.
So it's not easy.
No. But worth it. And for if there's a takeaway from anyone watching this,
little star comes across.
Yeah. The more you know. If there's anything that someone would take away from it, like, I know that, like, people will look at their life and go, I have to do X because I need Y and whatever. I don't think, to your point, that a lot of people can just be like, today I'm a financial analyst and tomorrow I'm tap dancing on Broadway. Like, I think that's absurd.
Yeah.
But I do think that if it's a thing where you are so either drawn to or like geared for doing a thing and you're not doing something around that thing, your soul dies.
You
or
become
slowly dies.
I could argue that's why people get depressed.
Sure.
Is they long for something that exists and they know it exists.
Right.
But the actions required to get there are not fun.
Yeah.
And you think about like being on Broadway or whatever whatever the dream is you had at that point, from that point to the end of the tunnel, right? The tunnel isn't fun. You know, there's nothing in there that's worth being around for.
Yeah.
And that beginning starting point is easy if you're excited about it.
Yeah.
But getting to the end of it is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Right? And like the tenacity to get from all that, it's like a math equation. You have to sit there and keep solving until you have the solution. Yeah. And sometimes there's no numbers.
Yeah. If you see gloss go over my eyes right now, it's from talking about math. I'm like,
I hate math.
The instant you said math, I was like, this chair is awfully comfortable.
Well, gee, my ADHD is quite ravenous right now.
Yeah.
You know, so I went to SUU as well.
Oh, get out.
I did it in 2008.
Okay.
So I moved to Utah in 07, went to SUU in 08.
Okay.
And went there because of the arts.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but I didn't have any direction of what I was good at, but I was bad at math.
Yeah.
So I didn't study business. I just went to graphic design. I was like, it's like drawing, but with a computer.
Yeah.
And then it became, I hate this. Which people who do graphic design that love it, there's a special relationship between hating yourself enough to want to do it, because it's someone else's idea you're making.
Sure.
But so I ended up pivoting after a broad service stint, you know, for a large denominational church.
Okay.
I came back and then I changed my degree to communication.
Okay.
Because I love talking to people.
Sure.
I can't sing. I can't really dance. I tried breakdancing down there.
Okay.
Which, dude, there's so much fun stuff to do at SUU.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was jumping off cliffs and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, I longed for the freedom that school gave me, but professionally. And talking is a very freeing thing. Sure. Because no one's writing down what they have to say before they say it, usually. Unless
most
you're
of the time
having extreme anxiety about speeches.
Sure.
But if you go a step further, like playing music live is incredibly impressive. And I'd love to get into that in a minute. About how you can even pull that off.
Yeah, bring it
being
on.
able to read an audience and play the right song is like, there's a certain level of emotional competency to do that.
Well, thank you for noticing. Not many people notice that.
But to get back to your point, you dove into, you didn't change majors. You stuck it all the way through SUU. Yeah. You didn't move to LA.
Yeah,
so that's even more impressive that you stayed there and refined the skill there.
Yeah.
Because it makes it more fixated on that. You have to do it. Right?
Well, we had, I mean, just to speak to that briefly, of a different generation, and maybe you had this, where it was like, you will get a college degree that is non-negotiable. That was probably
you won't get a handshake and the look in the eye if you don't have that degree in your hand and you hand it to them.
Yep. So it was, and very much like from the family side, right? Like it was always, you'll graduate from high school, you'll always get a college degree. We don't care really where it is, but you'll pursue something that way. So I think that was, at that point for me, it was I've started, I can complete it. And then moved back to Salt Lake, moved back to Suncrest, and started working for X96, the radio station.
You did?
Yeah, yep.
Wow. And it's like peak.
Yeah.
That's a huge job.
Yeah. So I came out of college and I started just as their phone screener, and then I became their producer and produced at X96, the Radio from Hell show, for like 13, 14 years.
So what time are you getting up in the morning to get
so early? So
Dude,
early.
How on earth?
Yeah. I have slid off of Suncrest roads, I would say, more than any other.
Like driving down?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, not like off and then down the hill, but off. Because
in like a Civic?
Yeah. It was
Get out of here,
it was an Elantra. It's cool.
It was an Elantra?
Yeah, oh yeah. Hyundai Elantra, where the ABS brakes, they just would grip, and then you'd just be like, I'm going off the road, but I'll get there. Never damaged anything or anything like that, but slid off the road more times than I can count.
Were you ever late to the show?
Of course.
Oh my word, dude.
Of course. But yeah, then all the way into Salt Lake and did that for 13 years. And then there got to be a point where I was like, this is not the way anymore. And then I started working for a Sirius XM radio station, co-hosting a show.
Wow.
And then about 3 years into that, we had one of those meetings where they said, this is what the future of working here will be like. And I was like, I'm out. Thank you very much. And
You ran, didn't you?
but jokes aside, I literally was in that meeting and I said, well, then I'll be done.
You said that out loud.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Meeting of a lot of people, and I said, "Oh, then I'll be done. I'm going to go ahead and grab my things."
And you were a host at that point.
Yeah.
Did that shake people's bones hearing that? Because I can't imagine you leaving a room and people being happy about it.
Well, some were.
Yeah.
You get to know me a little bit. Get to know me. Shaken maybe. The direction that they wanted was they were going to lean into the other host. And so I just was like, I don't want to produce again for someone else. If I'm going to produce, it's going to be because I'm a part of what I'm producing for, not producing for someone else. And so I just said, I'm out.
You're not a puppet. You like to kind of be...
Sure. Well, and there's nothing wrong with people producing. Some people really like it and they don't want to be the other part of it. I wanted to be the other part of it and happened to be really good at producing and was willing to do it if it meant that I got to be the host part of it.
So like people don't really know what producing is,
Sure.
like the lay person. How do you explain it to somebody?
Well, so there's all different kinds. So a movie producer is different than like a radio producer. Movie producers, a lot of times I think are involved in like the funding and making sure all the connections of the people who are going to be working on the film.
Like the angel investors.
Yeah. Some of that stuff, right? So radio producer is anything from like coordinating the interviews to like getting people in and out of the building to you look at the show. We had a 4-hour show. It was, okay, this is going to be serious stuff. This is going to be silly stuff. Do we have enough? Are we talking too much national? Are we talking too much local? Or what's the show like focused on? And making sure that you kind of fill all of the elements of it, and then being able to, if something is going horribly wrong, to be able to go abort, out, let's be done.
We're not talking about that topic.
Or on the other side of it, if something was going really well and then we had something else that was going to happen next, being able to pivot and go, listen, this is more valuable. We'll get to that other thing another time, or we'll just have to tell those people that we can't do it anymore and all that.
So it's kind of a gut check before, but gut check during. Like it's kind of a crystal ball type element where you have to know what works, what people will be watching, and also help the ads perform well, I'm sure. Which is most radio back, even today, right?
Yeah.
So that's got to be that probably at times was draining. To do that.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking ahead one day or 2 days or a week, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh. And it's like, it's like this for you on some scale. You're producing this, podcast for the people of Suncrest, and we're doing this now, and you're like, great, I've got that episode.
Yeah, but not
who's going to be the next one? And if I'm going to keep doing this, and if I'm going to keep doing this, and if I get someone on that makes everyone mad, am I shooting myself in the foot and now no one will come on, or
or one does well, one does poorly? You're like, what did I do wrong on that?
Yeah.
But I want everybody to watch it, you know, because I want people to meet people. But so what drew you? What made you want to be in that world? Because that's there's a gap there between starting your life in theater and dance, and then graduating in that, having your formalized degree, but then having that handshake with X96.
Right.
There's a big life transition there.
So it's always been for me on some level about just entertaining folks. And so if it has some aspect of it, I feel like I can make a connection to it. And in that particular thing, I felt like it was being able to entertain. I think a lot of people when they hear entertain, they go, "Oh, hilarious, funny, I'm entertained." And I mean like
jazz hands, type.
But entertained to me is like riveted to the content that's going on. So whether they are laughing so hard,
that's a good point,
that they've never laughed that hard, they are feeling empathy for, whatever the situation that we would have on the show is, or, it's a thing that makes everyone so mad. Like I lived in that, just wanting to entertain people, so much. And all the while, most of the time that I was at the desert or at X96, I also was performing at the Desert Star Theater in Murray. So I had that opportunity to do that at night. Yeah.
What were you performing in? Just like plays?
Yeah, musicals. They do musical
Do you sing
melodrama.
too?
Oh yeah, you bet.
My goodness.
Yeah.
What's an E flat? Do you know the E flat?
It looks like this.
You know how to sing it?
No, I'm not. I don't have perfect pitch. I can sing without. And then hit me up here, and then you're gonna come in on the lower.
Yeah.
No,
Harmonize with the E. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that entertainment aspect, you brought up something interesting. I think people don't think about is entertainment as just laughs, as just happiness, or distraction.
Sure.
Right. But what it truly is, I think what you're getting to the point is you're giving somebody time to commit emotionally to something.
Yeah.
You're giving them the time. And that time element's, I think, what matters most.
Yeah.
Is can you keep them engaged? And is that time spent valuable? Is it good quality time?
Sure.
And I think radio is very intimate, right?
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of time in the car, and you're getting a lot of time with people.
Sure.
Right? And podcasting is just modern radio,
Sure.
right? But I think that's something interesting is that you value time, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of piggybacking on that. I think that it's interesting too because, like podcasts, some are really long.
Yeah, this one goes pretty long.
Yeah, geez.
We're on a schedule on this one, so make sure.
No, but like to be able to be entertained for just short pockets of time, like it is the best worst thing about like working in it, studying it, doing it, producing it, all of those things is like I can watch a video and go, I was entertained and be entertained.
Yeah.
But the problem that then I have is as I go, why was that entertaining to me?
Yeah, why do I want to see monkeys carrying boxes?
Yeah. Was it curious? I'd never seen it before. I have like this acuteness aggression towards whatever the thing is. Like, what is it about this particular thing? And so I will enjoy it and then enjoy it and enjoy it and enjoy it. And then at some point something will snap. And then it's like, why was that enjoyable? I need to get to the bottom of why that was enjoyable. Let me figure out why that was enjoyable. And then it's...
Meanwhile, the algorithm's like, boy.
Yeah. Feed me.
It's got its fangs in your ankle.
Algorithm. Yeah. But
interesting. Well, is that what drew you to music then? Because DJing, because you currently DJ.
Sure.
I'm kind of fast forwarding here a little bit.
Yeah, you're fine.
Because I'm piggybacking more on what you're saying is, why do you like certain songs, right?
Yeah.
What creates that draw towards certain genres? Everyone has their genre.
Yeah.
And there's the formative years of being a teenager and what notes you like from that era. But I think there's something more there. I think the short form content has existed in music since it was around, which is the chorus.
Well, how very deep we're getting now.
Let's keep digging.
Let me think about that.
But you're getting the time to get to the value out of it. So if you think about it, a crescendo in music gets to a great resolve.
Sure.
So if you have a great lead up and a breakdown in a song and it goes to a great chorus, everyone's going to like it because that's what you want. You don't want a song with no chorus, right?
Yeah,
and the hook, and you could have it like ambient sounds for meditation.
Sure.
But I think a lot of people find that very elusive and don't think about it.
So I am thinking so many thoughts about what you're saying. Yeah. So your initial question is, how does this relate music for me? So I would tell you it's a couple things. I was that kid that like when he was like 7 or 8 years old, got one of these real terrible transistor radios. Like I don't even think they have them at like DI or Goodwill.
The build your
anymore.
own ones?
Yeah, and I did have one of those, but it was like this little 3x5 box, and it had no reception, not really, and a terrible. You didn't get like stereo headphones. It only came with like one earphone.
Yeah.
Like that's
I remember
just
those.
Yeah. And I got one of those for Christmas one year, and I was like, I just love listening to music. And then you get into like the early teenage years. This is before iPods, and I was Sony Walkman with the foam pads, and I had done the recording from the radio onto a tape and then tape to tape, so I could take the commercials out and have tapes upon tapes.
Well, you were cutting them down.
Yeah, so that I could just have straight music when we went on like family vacations. I could be in the car and listen to that, and just a huge fan of music, just in general. And I think the thing, it's twofold for me. One, just like anything that entertains you, it does give you like an absence from whatever you are thinking or worrying about at that particular moment, right? So there is a song that I know that if I want to cry or feel really a lot of emotions, I put myself alone and I can listen to that song and very quickly, and not even necessarily have to be alone, but just like I can very quickly kind of tie into that. There are some songs that I know if like I am just having a rough go of things, crank it up and it won't fix the problem, but there is like some physiological things that occur within that. That would be one part of it. The other thing that I would say about playing music in particular, like at events, weddings, the different things that I have the opportunity to do, you create a moment that never will be created again. Because all of the people that are there will never be together as they were like that ever again. And it's a thing that I really first sort of dawned on me doing live theater, because like sometimes you'll tell a joke and it's like, man, it can't, you guys have to be quiet. You guys have to be quiet. We have to go on with the show. Yeah. And you can say the same joke with the same setup and the same delivery, right? Like you get the cadence of it and it's just like
a fart.
Yeah. I was going to go there. Didn't know if we could say fart. That was him, not me.
Watch your profanity.
Yeah, make sure you mark on this. But it is an original, never to be repeated experience.
Yeah.
Even if I played the same playlist, it will not hit the same. The people won't receive it and reciprocate to it the same.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But that, one of the things that you said early on as we were discussing is that like this being able to feel where people are at.
The room. Yeah, feeling the energy.
I can read that these people are ready to do this. The people that I played this same exact playlist to yesterday were not ready at this point. They were ready later. We're going to, move this around.
It's like the slow dance is queued up, but wait, it's not ready yet. Let's push something else in. We're doing the Cotton Eye Joe,
Where did it come from and where did it go?
Who made it? That's what I want.
Yeah.
But to your point, I think the room, you think about a room as an instrument.
Sure.
You're playing an instrument.
Yeah.
You're playing a room. You're not playing music, you're playing a room.
Ooh, I like that.
And what's interesting about it is like, just like good conversation, you can't have a good conversation until you've tuned the guitar. And I use that analogy a lot. Like I need to tune, I can't talk with somebody until like I know what they want to talk about. And that's what a lot of meeting your neighbor is, or doing a good job at a job.
Sure.
Is like, what do people want? What do they expect from you as a DJ?
Right.
And do you deliver what they want? And I would say every time I've seen you play, everyone's always enjoying the music.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Which means you're reading not just a room, but a field sometimes,
Sure. Yeah.
Which imagine how hard that is.
Yeah, a poolside. Yeah, yes.
Yes, a pool.
Yeah.
With princesses jumping around.
Yep. Oh, yeah. 100%.
Yeah. But to that point, that draws you in. It keeps you engaged, keeps you focused.
Yeah.
You can't just passively hit play and walk away.
No, I mean, you can, and terrible people that do what I do that.
But your business name would say you're not terrible.
Yeah. The business name is Best DJ in Utah.
So clever.
Here's the thing. I get so much shade about this. Because the people will be like, what makes you the best? Oh, he thinks he's the best.
I have the LLC.
What an ego, right? When I was trying to think about naming what I would call my DJ company, because I worked for another company prior, I was like, what do you, is it light bulb,
DJ Squills.
Yeah, like
with
there's
the 3 X's.
Yeah, exactly. People can't spell it. But I have always been of the mind that like, do you ever watch The Muppets?
Oh yeah.
So in The Muppets, I want to say Muppets Take Manhattan. They're
a deep cut.
They're having a sales meeting about Ocean Breeze soap. Do you know this one?
It's from like the late 90s or something.
Yeah, so Ocean Breeze soap in this particular meeting, all the Muppets, it's different frogs. Kermit, he has had amnesia and he's trying to, he's gotten to have this job, right? So they're in this pitch meeting for Ocean Breeze soap. And it's like, one of the guys is like, Ocean Breeze soap. It's like taking an ocean cruise, except there's no boat and you don't actually go anywhere. And so like I feel like so many people when they name businesses fall into that category, right?
Yeah.
It's Paradigm Solutions of Hyper Authenticity Coaching, and it's
we
like
synergize your optics.
Yeah, 1,000%, right? And then just to go back to the same scene, Kermit, who's had amnesia at this point, doesn't know that he's Kermit. He says something like, "How about Ocean Breeze soap? It will get you clean." And it's classic Muppets because it's just so on the nose, but they're like, "So just tell people what the product does?" Why, no one's ever tried that before. And so with Best DJ in Utah, I was like, you're not going to be searching mediocre DJ in Utah or schlubby DJ in Utah. So I was like, best. Okay.
I would hire you just space to see if it's true. I'm like, hire. Let's see how it goes.
All right. He was on time.
$1 million DJ, but he only costs a minute.
And then the DJ because that's what I do, and then Utah because that's where I do the majority of it. So I was like, SEO, here we go.
Yeah, and it's paid off well. It's done well for you with the SEO. Because I found you.
Yeah.
You know, I was looking for a DJ, and you were the first one that popped up.
Boom.
I was like, is this the same guy?
Yeah.
It's the same guy. Yeah. The guy helped in the snowstorm. Same guy.
Yeah, same guy.
You're everywhere.
Yeah. I'll be here tonight when you try and go to bed.
Yeah.
Right.
Santa's watching.
But it's been fun.
But for tonight, you're playing a show here in Suncrest tonight.
Yeah.
Have the playlist already in your, like, is it in your head or is it on it? Like, how do you go about planning for a show?
Good question.
Because that's such a hard thing to figure out, dude.
So tonight, as indicated by the unfinished Christmas tree of your wife,
Kelsey, we're all disappointed.
And I happen to notice that in the last video that I watched, that the tree was not finished at that point either.
I know.
Kelsey, if you see this, I hope that you never finish this Christmas tree at this point. I think that's what you should do.
What if we just keep it in every episode? I just set it back up every time.
Every single time.
Did you do all of them during Christmas?
Yeah. We batch worked 1,000 episodes.
Every resident happened within a week.
But so for tonight, I know that it's going to be the majority of it, whatever.
I think majority. I like that. Majority.
Will be Christmas music.
Okay.
But there's a good chance that there may be some other things, depending on. A lot of times people think, oh, I love Christmas music. It's the Christmas spirit. It's the this or that, whatever. When you play Christmas music before Thanksgiving, it is like you put a turd in a punch bowl in some situations. And
it can go south pretty quick.
So that will be one thing that I'll be kind of watching for tonight. It's not particularly cold, so I can get away with a little bit slower music. Yeah. When you play slower music and it's cold, people feel colder. I don't know that there's science behind it, but I swear that that's
really?
The truth.
I didn't even think about
1,000%.
So you're going to play faster music to keep people warm.
If it was cold,
So you're playing some Usher, like
and
it's got sleigh bells in it.
Yeah. Let me write that down.
You have a sleigh bell button you push.
So there's some of that. I know there will be a lot of kids, so obviously that dictates that it can't be anything. Not that I ever would with a community event anyway, but you sort of know.
Rage Against the Machine's off the table.
At a thing like this, but I certainly have done events where people have said 1,000% we want Rage Against the Machine, or we don't want edited versions of any of the songs. Play the originals on all of these.
Wow.
All sorts of things.
That's got to be challenging at times to find clean songs of certain songs.
Yeah.
Do you self-edit your own songs?
Can.
Wow.
Or sometimes you're
many
like
talents right here.
Yeah. Sometimes you'll just do the chorus and be like, and I'm probably a little bit more on mic than some are, because then I'll come on and be like, and that's as much of that song as we can play without offending everyone. Go to the next one.
That's funny.
Depending on what the event is, right?
So your radio skills come into play as a producer, as your own producer. You can self-produce perfectly.
Yeah, not perfectly.
It's like a cheat code.
Yeah. It is like a cheat code, but not perfectly by any means.
Also, just how are we doing on time for you? Because I don't want to keep you from your show.
Oh, yeah, no, we're great. Oh, we're good. We're good.
Okay.
I've burned 72 calories since I sat here.
Really?
Yeah.
We're talking a lot.
Yeah.
It's good. That means it's working. The guitar is tuned.
Yeah. It's an E flat, and it's right here.
I'm going to play the E flat so we know how far off. I'm going to think it's here. Like right there.
Okay.
Where's your E flat at?
When I'm thinking about an E flat, I'm thinking it probably could be like, now I'm just matching your tone.
Matching mine, so now it's wrong.
I'm like, now your tone is here, but it could be up here, but it's probably down here. I'll go here.
Hey, that's what.
Try
okay,
that. Let's try that.
Here's an actual E flat. We can't hear what's happening right now.
Yeah, no, but I love it. If I have perfect pitch, somebody tell me. Could be up here, could be up here.
This podcast is so bizarre. Every episode's like different.
Yeah.
We had the last guest selling snowblowers in our face. It was great.
Yeah, do it. Sell a snowblower. Buy one.
It was
Buy
awesome.
two. You live in Suncrest.
Get a couple just in case. Give your neighbor one as a gift.
Yes.
Yeah, when they move
Welcome
in.
to the neighborhood.
Keep them in the neighborhood.
I will say this, because this is very Suncrest focused. Though I don't currently live in Suncrest, I am still a part of the Suncrest Facebook page because it is great. I love the people in the Suncrest Facebook group so very much.
It's fun.
From like the different personalities that you have up here, to the different individuals who just care and love about this community, to the people. The newbies are maybe my favorite people.
Why is that?
Because, and especially around this time with winter, where they're like, new here in Suncrest, we moved here in June. Does it always snow this much? Or like, are the roads always this bad? And just everyone wanting to be super kind, because I feel like it's a kind neighborhood, but also being like, you just see them weighing out, being like, do I launch full sarcasm right now? Do I whatever, and it's, it's great. It's a cool community too. I feel like it's a community that takes care of their own and wants people to feel at home when they're up here, because it is sort of a home away from the valley. Yeah,
it's a separate community.
Yeah. If you live in Suncrest, you have, even though you're like, there's a lot of different lifestyles represented, which I love the diversity up in Suncrest. But you all have like being in Suncrest in common, which I think is super important. So we all know, Traverse, Potato Hill.
There's some cops. Y'all checking this?
Yeah, we got someone's dog got out again.
Dude, that's a lot of posts now.
So much.
There's
right
so
now.
many dogs.
But that sort of common thread within the community that I think is pretty special, and that you don't get everywhere else. So
it's more unique than, like, I've lived in other communities where the Facebook page is more like does anyone have like an idea of when this thing? It's like it's something general, like almost like a bulletin board. Yeah. Whereas this one has it even has like a lot of back and forth with people, which is I see it as healthy. Yeah. I think discourse in any form is not just entertaining, but also informative of like what people care about. Yeah. And
and I think there can be some like I've seen some posts where I'm like, oh geez. I mean, these are people that are your neighbors, everyone. Remember that you live in the same community with them. Yeah. I don't think that you would say that to their face, or at least I hope not. So maybe don't say that to them online. I don't think that happens very often, but there have been a couple of situations where I'm just like, pause. Let's take a break, everyone, and remember that.
I'll touch some grass real quick, or some snow, and then come back in. Yeah. Because I've had moments where I'm like, well, actually, like there was one time and I felt like it was received poorly, where I had commented on almost hitting someone's car. Oh, geez. And it was a new resident, and I was like, holy crap, I almost ran into their car because it was like snowy and they just moved in. And I said, I just took the picture. I'm like, hey, and I was like trying to get them off the road as fast as possible. Sure. No one was home. And I'm like, if someone can just let them know. And then it came across, everyone thought I was like really mad at the person. And I was like, I just want them to not get their car smashed. Sure. And the resolve of that was all the new residents felt strongly about, bringing cookies to people. So I'll commonly comment on, nice. don't just bring them cookies. They'll be fine. Yeah. Jeez. But to the point, like, I'm glad people were defending people's, I think people here want people to stay. Yeah. Ultimately. And that's what I wanted. Yeah. So, and I want you to come move back here. Yeah, well, I will. If the past is any indication, I will be back up here again sometime. Yeah, we'll open a community theater and we can have you be in charge of it. It's got to be a little bigger than that up here. No, you could do something. No, I'm up here
I'm up here, visiting family.
Because your family still lives up here. You have who's all here from your family up here?
Yeah, so my mom, Robin Folger, so
she's great, by the way.
Oh.
Robin, you're great.
Mom, you're great.
See? We said it.
So she lives up. You can't edit that out.
It's in there.
So she lives up here, and she was one of the OGs of Suncrest.
So she's in the same house that you guys moved up in?
No. So so she has moved like 3 or 4 different times up here in Suncrest because she just loves it.
She knows how to real estate too. She knows she knows how to do the thing.
Yeah. And has really focused to that point. Both her and Scott, my brother. Yeah. Who also lives up here.
Also a great guy. Scott, great guy.
Hey, Scott, great guy.
You can't write this stuff.
Yeah. Like, they've been an inspiration to me, as a quick aside, both of like loving the community, because the snow is real miserable up here. I don't think that's news to anyone.
It's like a hibernation thing. We just kind of exist in it. Some people pretend to love it.
Sure.
I look forward to it, kind of.
Yeah, it's hard. And that ultimately was one of the things that this last time got us to move. But like the way that that is my brother and my mom, care for this community, just like you, just like the Lucases, just like you know, other folks. The way that they care for the community, you don't have everywhere else. And where I live now, I don't have. And I realize how difficult and how much energy, I mean, I see it on the back end, but seeing how much energy that they put into like, that old quote of like, be the change in the world that you want to see occur. Like, they spend so much time, and sure, they're able to meet people and hopefully be able to sell their home because of it. But I truly believe that in both of their cases that they would be those contributors to those community, even if it wasn't directly reflected to their like income, because they care that much. And so like, I'm trying to do it in my place. I'm like, this is hard. And you know what? I hate it a little bit. Why do I hate this? So
it feels more genuine here than anywhere.
Yes.
Yeah. And you look at people who have businesses that only exist in Suncrest and only could exist here in Suncrest. Right. And theirs is a perfect. They've built it around Suncrest. Yeah. So it's a perfect model for this area. Yeah. But you look at other services like if you knew Kevin. Sure. He recently moved down the hill, but he still helps people up here all the time. But he was incredibly helpful. Yeah. He cares about his neighbors, but he also is trying to strike that balance of, do I get people? Do I just sell to people, or do I help them? And he does both really well. I think everybody that's up here that does a great job. Yeah. Yeah. Peter Drubin as well. Great. Yeah. Right. And I think to have people that care about you, I think it's important to recognize that. And I know there may be new people that are watching this. Yeah. Like, people care about you, and they won't know to care about you or even know who you are if you don't make yourself available to it. Since COVID, I think things like that are hard. Yeah. It feels harder just to meet people. It feels harder to connect with people. And so I think what I think is so great about this, and you've talked about it, just allowing people to get to know people that either live here or will be in this community, it allows you to go, hey, I saw you on that episode of that. Yeah. Great job. Or, you're up in the night, you idiot. I can't believe, but at least gives you something to talk about with someone, as opposed to what I do in my neighborhood, which my wife hates because she's so introverted and I'm so extroverted. Yeah, what do you do in your neighborhood?
I just go out and I go, hey, how's it going? Where do you live?
Walk around?
Yeah, I 100%. I'm this guy who will be like, working
in the bush?
Yeah, not actually doing anything, where I'm just like, I want to meet someone who, hey, how's it going?
Why don't you do a podcast in your neighborhood? It's such a great excuse to meet people.
Agreed. With
your experience, you could run circles around this.
It presently, no way, by the way. Your video, this is incredible. But it presently feels too close to work, that it just feels like more work that I would be doing.
Yeah, interesting. It's like knitting. You could knit your own sweater if you know how to knit, but you don't want to knit your own sweater.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So for right now, and I'm also of the mind, and I know you understand this, just again based on this, that like, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it really well. I know, and I know how much time it takes to do something really well. So I'm like, I should probably not do that right now.
When we were moving you in, I noticed like, he's got good taste in furniture. He doesn't like buying crap. Nope. And I felt like this guy cares about quality, but quality from an internal perspective. Like, am I giving myself my best step forward?
Right.
And like being a perfectionist, I don't know if that's something you're
I'm a recovering perfectionist.
Yeah. But allowing something to go out that you don't fully love is hard.
Yeah,
right?
real hard.
And like even doing live performance, you can have shows that are great and some shows that you think, I could have been a little better if I did this and this and this.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, I don't know, Jay Leno still performs.
Sure.
He goes out and he's like 70 something,
Yeah.
like 78. You know, because he's still trying to perfect his craft because he loves it.
Sure.
So
Seinfeld notoriously will write his entire thing out, and then he'll just change one word and want to do the entire thing again, and just will constantly be crafting those things. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think a true artist is never fully happy with what they've delivered. They just have to get it out.
Yeah.
So I usually say 80% good is good enough.
Yeah.
But that's 100% to most people.
Sure. I will never forget the first thing that like dawned on me that something didn't have to be perfect. I'm not looking at the time, but I do have to go in a minute.
I'm making sure we're keeping you on time. We're like at 50 minutes, I think. So.
I was in an area that had a lot of dental students when I lived in Ohio.
Sounds exciting.
And I got good cheap dental care. And one of the things that like notched that perfectionism away from me is in a very serious, almost like this sort of situation, sat down and the guy asked me, he says, do you know what C plus C plus C equals? And I was like, what?
C plus C plus C?
Yeah. I'm like, what are we even talking
like
about right
algebra?
now?
Yeah.
And he didn't tell me for a little bit. And then
Like
I think
this?
and then I think he forgot that he, and so like later on I go, you know what? It's probably just a dumb joke or something. I don't know what this setup was, but one time you said, do you know what C plus C plus C equals? What does that even
the
mean?
same- the
and
same
what?
night,
yeah,
same
what is it?
conversation?
No. It was a different time.
Different. You remembered.
Yeah.
You sat there stewing
How
on.
odd is it? How odd is it that like there wasn't any? Because if it was a joke, you pay off the joke.
Yeah, you hit
and he
the
goes,
punchline.
oh yeah, DDS. And I was like, huh? And he's like, oh yeah, you can become a doctor of dental science if you just get C's. and because you just have to pass to get it. And so he said, do you know what C plus C plus C equals? DDS. So what I interpreted it to mean was it doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to pass, and no one will care if you got C's or A's because they'll never know because all you have is the license to be able to be a dentist.
And then they're working on your brain one day.
Yeah.
Your brain surgeons, I got 3 C's. Crap!
Pack it back up. I'm going
doesn't speak anymore.
But yeah,
You're still getting paid though.
Yeah, done.
I remember I was a B student, and A's are they're too hard to get because I would try my best and get a B, but then if I could get an A, it was like I was actually achieving success. But it's hard if all you get is A's, and if you get 1 B, you're a failure. And that's kind of what perfectionism is when you get good at something.
Yeah.
That's good insight.
Yeah.
Well, we're about at 52 minutes.
I know.
So I know that you have an hour mark you're working against.
Well, and I think even I think we probably pretty quick now. I look so pretentious here. Sorry,
no, this is great.
Yeah. I think we may need to go like 2 or 3 more minutes. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So I want to kind of round off the interview here.
That's what we were doing. Kelsey, this tree is not done.
I know.
Why won't you finish the tree? I told him. I know that you're not.
I'm looking at it. Yeah.
Like any good wife, I know that you're not going to watch what your husband does because I do plenty of things that my wife will never see the light of day. I want you to know that I think you should not ever finish this Christmas tree, and that's the commitment you should do.
I might put it back up every episode now.
He might like that.
Yeah, you would hate that. He might like that.
Last night she's like, "Are you sad, Jordan? I haven't watched any of these episodes." I was like, "You haven't watched them?"
Oh, you just tell me so much about
You guys, this is not therapy. We'll talk about this a different time. It's a different episode. She loves you. She just doesn't need to watch it.
I make like electronic music for fun.
Okay.
On a Game Boy.
Okay.
Which, admitting a lot of nerdiness here.
Sure, yes.
And she's like, "Oh, another one of these, Jordan." I'm like, "Listen to it." She's like, okay. So I've tortured her with many things.
Yeah.
I was falling asleep last night. He's like, Kelsey, listen to this.
It's like, beep, 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 beep. She's like, yep.
Good for you for ever listening. I'll tell you the secret as soon as she leaves.
Quick. She's gone. Hurry, quick.
Yeah. She hasn't shut the door. There it is.
She's gone now.
You can get away with so much. I have.
I can't say anything right now.
I have said. Not disparaging things. I love my wife very much, but I have said things that I'm like, I'll be
on
in
the
trouble.
radio.
Yeah, on the radio, in a podcast, in an interview. I know I have said stuff, and I know she will never watch
She's
it.
in the car, like, is this my husband speaking?
Yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah, and did he just say deep trouble? Nope.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I think in being time conscious here.
Sure.
It's funny. I could talk forever. I
this has been great.
Great conversation like this is so fun to have, because people who are genuinely interested in something doing well, like the community or the podcast, I can tell you care about both. Mm-hmm. But even more than that, like giving people a platform to experience people in real life is what I care about most, right?
Yeah.
And like I feel like a lot of times we get caught up in like the discourse of politics or religion or who's this, what's that. But like, it's so great to sit down and talk to somebody. So thank you for coming on.
Of course.
Yeah, it's so refreshing.
Yeah.
And like, this is what digital, content should be. Is just real conversations.
Yep.
But I would love to kind of round things off by asking, what are you doing? What would you like people to know you're doing in the future? Like, what are you looking towards?
Ultimately, I don't know. I'm sort of in that. I know I'm going to DJ for a while longer, but always have some level of like that entertainment, whatever that looks like for folks. Yeah. If people ever wanted to find me,
that's what I should ask. Where can we find you to go to watch you play?
The best DJ in Utah.com, bestdjinutah.com is the website. All the socials are at Best DJ in Utah. And then me personally at Richie T. Steadman on all of the socials as well. Yeah. Always doing, all sorts of things for anyone. Yeah. And if you ever, and I'm looking into the camera on this one on purpose, if you ever are like, man, we need someone to do something and we don't know who would do something like we need that person to do, I'm that person. People hire me to do that kind of stuff all the time.
It's very open. It's a very wide open invitation. It could be anything.
I'll kill someone if that's what we're getting at. I'd kill someone a lot, and we can't talk about it. It's recorded.
$1 million DJs.
I'm not actually going to kill anyone. But like, if people are like, we want someone to dress up like a unicorn and sing at my boss's. Done. Do that all day. Whatever.
That's oddly specific.
Yeah. I've done it before. Whatever the thing is, though, there's not anyone that could teach line dancing to German people, is there? Yes. I'll do whatever the thing would be.
Is there a guy that can figure out how to code a website from scratch?
I know someone. If I can't do it, I can tell you that I know someone.
So you're not just the doer, but also the liaison between doers. I love it.
The connector.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a good embodiment of who you are as a person, is the connector of people.
Thank you very much.
That's a great way to lead that off with, or end it with. I don't know how to end these things. How do we end a radio show or podcast?
So having a tagline, that's the way to go.
What's our tagline?
From the top of the mountain to your earphones.
Or your eyeballs.
Or your eyeballs,
Was that a tagline you used?
Oh, no. We're up at the top of a mountain, right? Don't let the sun crest before you've got to know another one of your neighbors. Something like that.
Yeah, and that we have an episode. We have it.
Yeah, there it is.
Don't let the sun crest.
Taking this tree with me. All right.